lessons can we take from the main character and use in our real lives? What can we learn from their mistakes? Because they're just fictional characters, but what can we learn from them and take it from our reality? My name is Sarah, and that's Imogen.
Yeah, this episode we're not going to be talking about a film. We're just going to be introducing ourselves, what kind of things we're into, what kind of things we'll be talking about. So yeah, that's the gist of this one.
Because the way we're trying to format it is we take a film that we like and kind of analyse it. Less of the visuals mean this symbolic, more like the character is this and we think this means this. So we can take, for example, if a character's a loner, what does that mean? Like, what do they do to navigate the world? And how we can learn from them. So did they make friends? Do they do small chat? So we basically analyse those films and TV programmes or whatever we're interested in and see it there. And we might throw in a bit of film, like gush over an actor and analyse their filmography, but we're more upon the lines of we like films and we want to learn from them, and life sucks, so we might as well learn from the fictional characters.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking more at like the themes and like what the characters actually do than like more the technical side of films. But yeah, we might sprinkle some stuff in anyway, but the main point is the life lessons that we can take from them.
You know, because life sucks really, so you know, we might as well learn from the fake people. Yeah, so my name is Sarah. I studied like media and TV production actually as a degree. So I've always been interested in the creative stuff. Because not obviously I'm dyslexic. You wouldn't know that, but I do. So basically I'm dyslexic. So I've always gravitated towards like film and TV because it's like an escapism for me. Because, you know, life is just too much. And I always, you know, you put your headphones in, listen to a song, it transports me into like a mood, a feeling. So I always thinking about, oh, if I was a character, I would do this, like, you know, main character energy, you know, that type of thing. So, you know, I've always gravitated towards film, and yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm Imogen, and I've only recently got into like looking at filmmaking and doing filmmaking with Sarah, after we met. But yeah, a similar thing. I've always been interested in it as an escape, and like, I don't know, there's just something really cool visually and artistically about films and TV and that kind of stuff, and just making a piece of visual media. It's just so interesting. It just teleports you to somewhere else sometimes, and as you say, it gives you different feelings and moods and can make you think about life in different ways and can inspire you. So yeah, that's why I'm interested in films, and that's why I think this podcast is quite interesting to some other people who maybe watch films and they want to talk about the things that they've noticed that have applied to their lives or what they've learnt from there. Because I think film analysis can sometimes just go down whether it's good or bad, or like what the technical stuff in it is, and not about the like themes and the vibe of it as much and what you can learn from it. So that's why I think this podcast is going to be an interesting one.
I watch films is to get a vibe, like, you know, like I'm crying with the character because it's just like a writer writes what they know, and to be honest, a lot of writers write from their own experience because you can relate to a lot of stuff. It's like, I just don't want to be a film bro saying like this acting is okay, like, you know, the chemistry is okay, but the reason why I watch films is to catch a vibe, like, you know, the podcast we're going for.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's like different ways to analyse films, and like, yeah, if you're more interested in the kind of technical stuff, that's one way to look at a film, but there's so much more to films than just how they look, which kind of sounds like crazy because it's a film, it should just be based on how it looks, but there's so much about the plot, about the characters, the relationships between characters, how their emotions display something about the, you know, reality and things like that. So that's the focus of this podcast.
Yeah, because haven't you noticed that if a script's poorly written, you don't care how beautiful it looks because you're not related to the characters, their motivations, the reason why. You know, it's just like, okay, you have two characters who love each other, but why do they? Is it romance, just love at first sight, enemies to lovers, just enemies? You know, I realized a good film is all about the characters, the motivation, and I think nobody talks about that. Yeah, and I think that's what we're going for, and I feel like it's like we talk about films more of a catching a vibe, like, you know, is it all depressing? Is it all sad? Like, why did the character do that? And I think, yeah, like we said, we catch the vibe.
Yeah, it's about like sometimes you watch a film and you take so much away about, I don't know, it has such an effect on you and like how you want to change your life and can inspire you and how you want to live your life. And yeah, that's the kind of things we'll be picking out. How maybe you don't want to live your life, things like that.
Like when I have like we watched, I think, Our Past Lives, and I had this expectation in my head. Oh, because I love Korean dramas, right? And it's based about this idea of like soulmates. So in my head, I was like, oh, if it's kind of like Koreans tend to like this idea of a soulmate, so she's gonna end up with the guy, and then it didn't happen, and I was just like, my expectations were flipped, and when I rewatched it, I was like, I see what the director she was trying to do, but my expectation was just like, they're going to get it back together. Then I was just like, okay, it's not happening. And I think that was my same gut reaction with La La Land as well. What do you mean? So it's kind of like, you expect something from a certain genre, when it doesn't deliver, it makes you reevaluate what the director was trying to do in the first place. And I feel like, because with me, I've never experienced love in that capacity, so yeah, I know it's not all rainbows and unicorns, but when I don't see it that way, it's like, they're cute, and then I was like, oh, but realistically in life, it doesn't work like that. So it's kind of like to see why did the director never make them end up together? Because you can always put your own perspective on these films, but when you look back and be like, oh, it was just the wrong time, right place, wrong time type of situation. They would never. So it's kind of like, that's the way I analyze films. It's like, I never do it. Act 1 is the setup, in the middle is the conflict, and the end is the resolution. It's like, what is the journey has the character gone on? Has it gone up, down, like a roller coaster, or has it just gone steady? And then, you just kind of do that, and I feel like with life, that's why it goes back to the life lesson. Life is not up and down. Life's up and down. It's not just bit of bad things. It's like it goes up and down, and I think that's why I kind of look at films as just like, at the end of like sports films, they always get the trophy. They're always the triumph, but like reality, that's not happening. A sports movie, you have the ups and downs to kind of the climax of the film. Oh, they won the whatever it was, trophy. I think I value in the art resembles life in some way. To get to know us, I'm just going to check some questions now. What is your favourite genre of film? Spot here.
I know, right? I don't really know, to be honest. I watch so many films. I think it depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm really in the mood for romance, or sometimes I really want to watch a thriller. So genre, I'm not too sure. Yeah, could be anything. What about yourself?
That's the same. It's the vibe. The feeling.
Yeah, isn't it? Because sometimes even like a horror, you're like, oh, I want to watch one.
Horror's no. No matter what weird I'm in, I'm never in a mood for a horror. Thriller I can do, but a horror, no, this is something I don't want to be scared.
Yeah.
That's too scary as it is. I don't want to be like, I think The Woman in Black is like horrible, but anything like Exorcist or whatever those movies are, I like the kind of like Scream kind of comedy type of like.
Yeah, I like those.
It goes,
Yeah.
you know. But Jordan Peele, it takes that horror to a different like. It's not really a monster or a ghost thing. It's like some like you, like life is the scary bit, you know. And I think I respect that, but it's just like any day, don't quote me with horror. Superhero genres are obviously there, like everywhere. I do vibe with a good like superhero, but then I realised because I like watching Korean dramas, like I can watch 16 episodes that are an hour, but I can't watch 2 hours of a film. I don't know, my brain just saying like, yeah, I can watch 16 episodes and one episode is like an hour, but I can't just watch 2 hours of a normal romance movie.
But sometimes it's like when you're in the cinema, it's a lot easier because it's like everyone else is doing it and you have to watch it. But when you're by yourself, it's like you want to skip some scenes or something, so it can be a bit harder. Yeah.
I mean, there's people have an actor that they have to go see, like who's your equivalent of like, oh that person's in it. Who would make you go to the cinema?
Oh, that's a good question. To be honest, I'm not really too sure these days. I feel like a lot of the actors that like we grew up watching, I don't know, I feel like I haven't seen them as much, almost. Maybe like Ryan Gosling is always like, you know, it's gonna kind of be, if he's in a comedy, you know, it's gonna be kind of funny, like Barbie or something.
Oh,
I don't know, yeah.
like, you know what? It was kind of funny that my friends used to say I had this teacher. He was teaching us colour grading, and I kind of randomly said, "Oh my God, isn't that Ryan Gosling?" I think it was because of the colour grade of like Blade Runner, and then my teacher was just like, "Yeah, he's just like a house plant. He gives me that vibe of like no mood sometimes, like you know, like." And then it just became a joke, like. I always used to get this teacher. I used to like DIY a card with Ryan Gosling's face on it. I used to get him a Krispy Kreme donut and write a picture of Ryan Gosling. And it used to be a joke that I was obsessed with Ryan Gosling. But at that time, I only watched La La Land, and I still have only seen 2 Ryan Gosling movies, Barbie because we watched it together, and La La Land. So, but after watching Barbie, and I was just like, oh my God, Ryan Gosling is Ken. He's a method actor. I got more obsessed, so still only watched 2. So maybe I'll watch more, but he's a vibe.
Yeah, sometimes as well, I don't know if you like this, but if I watch a film and an actor's in it and I really like the actor in it, I'll start researching other films they're in.
Can I just say, this is going to be a hot take, but it goes Spider-Man. It goes Andrew Tobey. Then I think for me, Andrew Garfield, I don't know, I think I like it, like a bad, like, you know, he's more of that edgy. Tobey Maguire's films are good, I appreciate it, there's no hate here.
Yeah.
But I think because Tom Holland was too MCU, like, he had too much of, like, the tech. Like, he wasn't,
Yeah.
Peter Parker has to take pictures for the Daily Beaver because he has no money. You can't say MCU is superior. And I'm just like, he's my favourite. People are just like, he's good looking. I'm like, yeah, but that's not the point I'm making.
He's a good actor in it. I think the thing is, like, as you say, with all the tech, Tom Holland's one was like, it felt like a different version of the character sometimes.
But I like how they're going back to basics now. He's all alone. He's in a dingy ass apartment with that homemade suit. So I'm just
Will they do anything? I don't know, but yeah.
I'm just saying, give Andrew Garfield the here, because he's the only one who does that trilogy.
Yeah. I guess he kind of has now, though, because he's been in this one.
But that's not
yeah, that's true.
Can I just say, oh my God. When I think the reason why I like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is like, he's so broken. Like, that scene where not MJ, it's Gwen Stacy. Just the fact that he went to the web, that's all you can see. and it broke her back, and I was like, he never, he never recovered. He was still like an emotional wreck, and I kind of like that vulnerability of him.
Mm. Yeah, we
But
might do an
he's
episode
still-
on this, guys, about Spider-Man. So don't spill it all here, but
We don't know what we're doing. We're still kind of feeling the vibe. There's this guy on BBC Radio, Ali Plum. He kind of does the interview.
oh, I love him. Yeah.
I love him, and I think setting it now. One day we'll have a podcast. That we'll have a big enough podcast so we can get him on the show, so we can become real critics, like real people who can analyze films. And I think this podcast is not for your film nerds or your film people. This is like we're just two people talking about a vibe, and I think we want to be a critic, but we're not at that level to be like this means this. But and I think hopefully throughout this like podcast we can evolve into people who know what we're talking about. Movies just mean so much because I think I don't know. I hope movies you can learn a lot from yet again. It's all about how you interpret it.
Mhm. Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
Is there any actors that you always watch?
No, I think I know it's a big problem. I'm more of a franchise person. Like, like, I don't know, but like, the things that I remember watching in the cinemas that I was like, oh my god, I need to watch it is because of the hype or like the franchise. Like, love me a Mission Impossible movie. So it's kind of more like the genre than like Mission Impossible, for example. Like, that's like probably to get my ass in the seat.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly appreciating indie films. Like, because I like A24, and I knew they were doing a romance movie. None of that crazy, weird stuff. And I thought, okay. Then I told you about it. We watched Our Past Lives, and I was just like, okay. Because I think when a studio like A24 has like the caliber, you're like, okay,
Yeah, it's probably
Like-
going to be good. Yeah.
And I think I'm still at a point where I need to appreciate watching movies more on my own time.
Mm.
But I do love me TV programs. Like, I think that's where I'm more of a binger.
Mm.
Like, I think with Korean dramas as well, I love them. They're like my obsession. They're my binge watching thing. But I think because you get 16 plus episodes to get into the psyche of the character,
Yeah.
you get. Because I feel like you can flesh them out over like 16 episodes instead of 2 hours.
Mm.
I can get a vibe for them. And it's just like I can understand why I despise the character, or I understand why I just love the character. I think that's more my speed. It's more of like TV. And my brothers keep saying to me every time we go have family time, "Oh, you're the film person." I'm like, I never said that. I did TV production.
Yeah.
TV is more long term, and I think I tend to gravitate towards TV.
See, for me,
Yeah.
TV's like, because sometimes they can be so long. I'm always like, that's such a commitment to like watch like 16 hours or something. Whereas like a film, if it's 2 hours, I'm like, okay, I can watch that and I'm done. And I can move on to something new. So when I have to commit to something, it's always a bit like, will it even be good as well? Because sometimes you don't know until like 5 episodes.
But that's the good bit. It's like, to me, that's the good bit because it's just like I've got a problem. I binge stuff, but if it comes out episode a week, I'm just like, ooh, it's the anticipation. It's just like you're like speculating like in your head what's gonna happen next. But then I appreciate a good binge watch because then you're like, oh my god, I need more. I spend like, there's this thing there was this program on Netflix called Brother's Son, and it's about like a boy who doesn't know his like family's like not math like triad like gang stuff. And it's about this guy you realise his mum's like, his parents are part of this like gang stuff, and he was just like oblivious to it. But the thing is, I binge watched that in like a day. I kind of watched it overnight, and I was like, oh my god. But then it's just like, I think you get more of the story why I love shows.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And it's more like you can do more with it with TV, like in the sense of the story, it can go anywhere. You can have more like interesting twists and character development, but
One hot take, I'm just gonna spin out there. I never understood Avatar, the blue people. Not Avatar, the Last Airbender. Just to count. I never understood the hype, but then that's probably because I never watched it in the cinema. More about
that's
the
it then, yeah.
spectacle. It's more about the spectacle than the story. When you watch the story at home, you're like,
Yeah, because the first film, it was kind of like such a big deal because it was so many effects and everything. And you had to kind of be there for the sound and the whole experience. So yeah, if you watch it at home, it's like, yeah, just blue guys.
oh, off topic. I can't wait for Avatar: The Last Airbender now that I've seen.
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
And you gotta say this is what say your expectations low, because then I end up like the movie. Set your expectations low, but you know.
Yeah, because the first one was so bad that it can't be worse.
You know what? Netflix has done a decent one. I've never watched the anime of
One Piece, yeah.
But just knowing how kooky it is, and it kind of looked okay in a live action, so yeah.
Yeah, I have faith.
So yeah, we're going to try to post once a week. Hopefully. No promises, but yeah. If you like what you hear today, this is just a snippet of conversations we're going to have. We might go off the rails, off the cuff, but we've got a semi-structure. At the end of the days, we just want to be critics. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're just here to keep people talking, you know.
Yeah.
You know that meme at the point where it's just like, oh, we could start a podcast. Everybody says so. We're at that point where we're a few people with a podcast. So once we get our social media running, just make sure you leave comments, 5 stars only, you know what it is. Subscribe, like, I don't even know podcast anymore. But yeah, once we have our social medias, we'll pop it somewhere here in the description. Yeah. Well, look forward to going on this journey with you. So if you like what you hear, you know, do the thing. 5 stars. But yeah, that's been us.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.